how can I express myself totally and completely? Now, that way...
Alright, welcome back to the Al's Drum School podcast with me, your host, Al. This week's episode is just a mini episode. I say just, still action-packed, still full of hopefully useful information for you. It's just not a long-form conversation. It's just me by myself here in the studio. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about what it means to me and what it may mean to you to be a musician, or when we call ourselves a musician. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does that feel like? How does that play out into the world? Let's dive into it. So the reason I wanted to record this little mini episode was because I recently took the decision, or made the decision, to stop touring. Me and my wife. If you're listening to the longer form episodes, you probably know this, or if you know me. Me and my wife recently had our first baby daughter. We had a baby girl back in May of this year. And obviously with that comes a lot of changes in life. And not only sort of in the family world, but also for me professionally too. And I was touring a lot. I've spent professionally, probably the last 10 years, but really since I was about 14, I've been a working drummer. I was quite lucky to be sort of roped into a band at a young age. And I've kind of been hustling and gunning at it ever since then. And I'm 33 now. I started when I was about 12, 13. So that's nearly over 20 years of doing this and being a drummer and trying to figure out how it is I make my living from doing this. And so it's a long time. So it was a big change. My point is of all that is that it was a big change for me. There was a lot of emotions involved with it, as well as all the practicalities. I made sure that the project I was working in was happy. I don't like to burn bridges. I don't like to sort of leave anyone hanging as well. So I gave my notice, done it all properly. But it's kind of left me with some residue emotions or some questions around my identity. I attached so much of my identity to being a working drummer, being a professional musician. And I started to question, with me taking a step back, what does that mean for me now? Do I still get to have the label as a musician? Am I still a musician without gigs? I don't often, at the moment, I'm not currently playing much music with anyone else. So what does that mean for me? And I want to just unpack that a little bit here, as part, I guess, of my processing, but also to share this with anyone else who might be going down that road and having to make those changes in their life. So, as I say, a few months ago I decided, about a month ago now, 2 months ago, I decided to stop touring, and it's been pretty difficult. I'm not going to lie. There's been some emotional days. It's a very bittersweet thing because obviously I've got my beautiful wife and my beautiful baby girl at home, my daughter, and I'm more than feel like just overwhelmed with joy when I'm around her, and there's nothing I've ever done can ever come close to sort of being there on that day when she was born and having her in my life and spending time with her now and watching her grow. So personally, it's a no-brainer when you look at it that way. You think, well, yeah, that was an easy decision to make, to go and do that, to be at home with the family. Professionally, there was a lot that I dealt with mentally, though. I remember expressing to my wife one day, I feel like I'm sort of throwing away the last 10 years of my career, my professional career. I feel like I'm stopping, and I wanted to be really honest about that with her and share that with her, and also share that and voice it for myself, because those were the emotions that I was having and those were the feelings that I was having, and I didn't want to shy away from that and pretend that everything was okay and sort of, however long down the line maybe explode in a manner of different ways. I don't know, sort of not processing that properly or learning to deal with that. So that was something that I went through. It was quite a challenge, and yeah, so I'm repeating, but yeah, it was a challenge sort of mentally, and certainly a challenge emotionally. After, as well, I was lucky enough to play Wembley Arena this year. That was a huge career highlight for me. That was on the Saturday night, and then on the Monday night, my daughter was born. So it was a pretty big week. Both huge life moments, and all coming at one time. So it was quite a peak week that time. So anyway, it kind of brings me back to this question of, so what does it mean for me to be a musician? And what does it mean? Like, what do I need to be, or what do I need to do in order to be, quote unquote, a musician or a pro musician? And actually, for me, music has always been really, really sacred and special, and I cherish it, and I cherish the gifts that I was given, and the time that I put in, and what it's given back to me. I've had some amazing times. I met my wife on a gig. There was so many moments in my life. It's been at the forefront of everything I do. So just because I've decided to take this step back, does it mean any less to me? No. Am I a different person because of it? No, I just do different things. Does music still sound and feel the same to me? Absolutely. And on that point, actually music started to feel not so fun and not so special and not so sacred. And that worried me a little bit, and that scared me, that this huge dream that I had from so young. I remember being like 10, 11 years old thinking that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And that started to change, and it started to feel different. And what I realized, or now what I've realized at this sort of end of or this stage of the process, is that actually what it means to me is more important than it just being a job. Having the label and the sort of pride badge of I'm a working musician, that's rad, and I don't want to take anything away from that. I'm fucking proud of everything I've done, and I'm really, really pleased with the time and the effort that I did put in. And I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that, because it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. It's a great way to make a living, great way to travel, all those amazing benefits that come from it. But for me, I just started to get to a point where it wasn't fun anymore, if I'm honest. It was causing me so much anxiety and a lot of stress, and certainly financially and the security wise for the future of my family. It was starting to, the good times were starting to outweigh the bad, and I always said that if that started to happen, then I would readdress and I would have a little look at it and see, why that was, or if there was anything that I needed to change. So I did. I changed it. Now, of course, having a kid is a huge life event, probably the biggest ever. Really, there is none higher. And so that's obviously played a huge part in it. But certainly, in the time leading up to before the baby was here and before we knew we were having her, there was definitely moments where I thought, is this really everything that I kind of imagined it would be? Now, on that point, there was actually quite a lot of I'd use the word grief actually around realizing that maybe music wasn't going to offer me what I thought it could 10 years ago. Or is it just that what I want is changing? Maybe that's part of it too, right? And I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because music is music. It is what it is. Yeah, things happen and change in the industry over the years, but really, a gig is a gig is a gig. Some are more comfortable than others. Some have nicer hotels, some have nicer buses, some don't. Some pay higher, all those variables. But ultimately, we're there to play music and share that art with the people. So that sort of those things within that stay the same. I think it's the people, or in my experience, I should say, I can't relate to anyone else, but in my experience, it's I that's changed. It's me that's changed. So trying to unpack all that is quite a lot, and as I say, it's taken me a while to process it, and I wanted to be as honest as I can with myself, with my family, and certainly with the world around what that means to me and what that is. And to bring it back to that title of this episode, what does being a musician mean, or what does music mean, mean to us? I don't think there's any one answer. I think it can mean lots of things. I think it can take many various shapes, many various forms. We teach here from beginners right up to career mentorship, and I love all of that teaching, and I think I really, really enjoy seeing students develop through those different stages. Now, not everyone wants to take it to a career level, but some people do, and we're here to support that. And I really enjoy seeing students grow in that way. And I'm not also saying that I'm done with music forever. Absolutely not. That's definitely not what I'm doing. I'm taking a little hiatus to spend some time with my family. And I am still a musician. I am still a drummer. I don't need to feel that I need to sort of like subscribe to anyone else's stories around that. This is my choice. It's my life. And I want to show that support to anyone else who may be feeling that. I've reached out to drummers during this process about what it means for me, and trying to get support around that, and speaking to people who have decided to also take that step back from touring. And it's such a like fast-paced, intense lifestyle that actually I'm also quite enjoying the slowness of sort of not being out on the road all the time and not being told where to be on time, what to wear, what to eat, what we're doing, photo shoots, all that type of stuff. That stuff's all fun, but I'm definitely enjoying a change of pace in my life for sure. And yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say on this. I think we've unpacked that, and my point with this episode was to offer some insight or any support to anyone who may be going through this same thing. I know that it was a big emotional thing for me, but I'm still, as I said, I'm repeating myself, but I'm still a musician, I'm still a drummer, I'm still around the drums every day. I still get to be creative here in the studio, and never say never. You know, music is to be shared. That's the golden, the sort of one aim, I believe, of music is to share it with other people. And I will get back to that. I think I just wanted a little bit of time to reignite that love and that passion for it, and take the stress and the life stress out of it and the job stress out of it. And that's me for this little mini episode. You might enjoy my rant, you might not. It might have been insightful for you. Hopefully it was. Anyone who's out there listening to this, who's going through this similar journey, reach out. I'm always keen to talk to other musicians and other drummers and share stories and experiences and offer that support in any way that we can. While I've got you, I want to let you know as well about our beginners course that's just launched. 5 videos to take you from zero to hero, learning from knowing absolutely nothing about the drums to learning how to play and create your own beats. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. Head to www.alsdrumschool.co.uk. Head to the shop, video lessons, you'll find it in there. There's some other video lessons in there too. Or if you want to book an in-person lesson, come down. We have an amazing selection of teachers here at ours that will take you through your drumming journey and give you all the skills and tools you need to get you started. I hope this finds you well. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. This was a little first of some mini episodes that I'm going to be recording about my life around drums. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.